Jeff, before we get into a little more draft talk, let's get an update on a QB on our roster right now, Kirk Cousins. What's the latest? Do you think that there's a chance he gets moved tonight?
So I've said all along on numerous episodes, I've said it on Twitter, the Falcons, one of two things has to happen for the Falcons to move Kirk Cousins. You're either going to have to come out of pocket and pay the majority of his contract to take over that contract and give them a lower draft pick, 6th, 7th round, or if the Falcons are going to be expected to continue to cover the majority of that contract, you're going to have to come out of your pocket for a 1st, 2nd, 3rd rounder. That is not going to change. Are some teams desperate? I think a lot of people thought last night with the Steelers not taking a quarterback that they were now going to be open to willing to deal with the Falcons, and that absolutely could be true. I've said all along, and I said this on episode 5, that I thought this could potentially go into the season. And as quarterbacks get hurt, all of a sudden now there's a need for an NFL starting quarterback. But if a team is willing to deal with the Falcons at their price range and what they're looking for, again, one of those two scenarios, the Falcons will absolutely get rid of him. The Falcons are not willing to get a low round draft pick and eat the salary. They're not going to do both of those. So you've got to be willing to play ball. And if you are, they'll listen to you, right? If that means they pick up an extra 3rd round draft pick because you want them to cover, I don't know, arbitrary number, $30 million of the contract. Okay, fine. Like, they're willing to do that, but you're going to be willing to give them the draft capital that it's going to take in order for them to eat that. So if a team like the Steelers or a team, like, I don't know, the Titans, right? Or, other teams, obviously the Titans don't need a quarterback, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if a team on the clock today is saying, hey, yes, we will pick up that number, fine. They will play ball. They'll take a draft pick and they'll have something to show for it. But the Falcons aren't just simply going to get rid of him just to get rid of him, because then ultimately it leaves them again in a hole of having to go out and find and sign a backup quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, it's not only that we're going to have to put on like Kirk's money on our books, or a portion of it. It's that we have to go. And right now they're really, I mean, we signed Easton Stick, right? So a lot of people saw that move and they're like, oh, okay, we're getting ready to move off Kirk. But I don't know if Easton Stick is someone we want playing games, right?
Yeah, it's a camp arm.
Yeah.
Right. He's an arm. You have mini camps coming up, and then obviously, we are 3 months away, literally 3 months away from camp opening up. And that 90 days is going to go really, really quickly. So unless the Falcons are going to draft a quarterback here in the next couple of days, which I don't see happening, although it should, and I'll explain that in a minute, he's just a camp arm. And when I say the Falcons should draft a quarterback, I have said this all along. The NFL is a passing league, right? You can never have too many quarterbacks on your roster that can throw the football with accuracy, timing, and understand the playbook. Go back and you look at the prime of the Patriots, and I always use this as an example. They had the greatest quarterback, arguably, of all time. How many times did they take a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round while Brady was under contract for 20 years? It was like 6 times. Right? They took 6 quarterbacks in the 3rd or 4th round of the NFL draft. And what did they do with those guys? What did they do with with the Jacobys, with the Matt Castles? They flipped them. They developed them and flipped them for better draft capital. If you were in the NFL, and by the way, when Tom Brady went hurt, Castle went 11-0. Right? Like, he was good enough to go, like, I think they missed the playoffs because there was a couple games where they lost early on or whatever it was. But they drafted the quarterbacks, they developed them, and that way, if Brady got hurt, they had their backup ready to go, or they flipped them for a higher draft pick. And I've always said that in the NFL, you should absolutely draft quarterbacks every year, even if it's a 4th round pick. Develop a guy, trade him off for somebody who needs it, right? Like, yeah. There's no mystique better than a backup quarterback who you have no idea if he's fucking good or not. And if there's the belief out there that he's good, I mean, we did it one time under Matt Ryan, right? We what's his name? Matt Schaub.
Schaub.
Right? Yeah, Matt Schaub, and you flipped him for a higher draft capital than you spent on it. Right?
I think we did that the year before Ryan. We flipped him, and then we went into that Joey Harrington era. We flipped him without knowing that Vic was going to
I thought
jail,
Schaub was here. Was Schaub not here with Matt Ryan?
I don't think he was. Maybe I'm
wrong
on
off
with that. It was so far out. But yeah,
it was
that's
like 20
exactly
years
what we
ago,
did. We got a 2nd round pick back for him, I think.
But it ultimately, that to me is what what the Falcons and what every team should be doing, quite honestly. You should be drafting a quarterback every year, every other year, developing those guys. Even when you have a young guy, develop them, flip them. And if not, guess what? You cut them, you stash them on your practice squad, like whatever you need to do, you do. But I just, and they're not going to do it this year, right? They're not going to draft a quarterback this year. But next year, I think it should be on their radar late in the NFL draft.
Jeff, someone in the chat jokingly, are you telling us Sanders at 101?
That's
See,
hilarious.
Sanders is the type of guy that thinks he should be starting. He's not going to know his place as a backup. So that wouldn't make sense. But hey, if we're in the 6th round or something and somehow, some way, someone like Tyler Shuck falls there, that's a guy that can play, right? So that would be interesting. I doubt he falls that far, but that's the type of player you want. You don't want Sanders and all the circus that comes with him, especially when you have a young starter in place.
And by the way, Matt Schaub left 2 years before Matt Ryan got here, so I was completely fucking off on that one.
No, the reason why I remember that is I think shortly after we traded Schaub, Vic ended up with those court charges or whatever. Otherwise, that trade doesn't happen. And if that trade doesn't happen, we probably don't get Matt Ryan because Schaub probably holds it together in 07. So a necessary evil.